So I always try to answer questions on these things too, because I know that sometimes we internally have questions and we don't know how to ask. There's no such thing as a stupid question. So if you have a question, just post it in the chat and I promise you we'll get to them at the end. So I always like to say that in the beginning. But I've been with It Works now for a little over 3 years. I was a massage therapist for 8 years before ever even knowing what the heck that crazy rap thing was. And I absolutely loved what I did. I was not one of those people that had this story that was like, I couldn't wait to quit. I was tired of living paycheck to paycheck, but I loved actually what I did as a therapist. So to try to make a long story short, I had been head of household since I was a teenager. My mom was diagnosed with lupus my sophomore year of high school. And if any of you guys are familiar with lupus or any autoimmune disease, it kind of takes you out, right? So she went from having this amazing state job where she was high off life. I come from a background of a family that says, if you don't have a state job, you know what I mean? Like they kind of ground in you, like get a job with the state, get a job with the state, as if it is like the most glamorous thing to do. Do your 8, get out the gate, get a job with the state was like our family slogan. And so I've always kind of been the rebel a little bit, where I was just like, I couldn't see myself doing that. I can't see myself at a desk. I can't see myself in a cubicle, but I totally love being a therapist. After 8 years of being, side note in between that story, sophomore year came, here my mom had this awesome paying job where the first time in our life we weren't struggling, but financially as a family we were content, to being diagnosed with lupus and going from this woman who literally would run 6 miles a day as soon as she got up before she did anything else, to being someone that I had to literally throw over my back to carry to the bathroom. So you can imagine the shift. At that point, it got to a point where I had to step up and be head of household very, very young. So I took on the load. I went out and got jobs. I tested out of high school and completed my courses early just so I could work full time. So I tell people, like, I have literally been working a full-time job or 2 since I was like literally 15 years old. So being a massage therapist for 8 years, I was easily burnt out because I had been in the customer service field so freaking long. And I remember one day going into work, and with any autoimmune disease, you can be high off life one day, everything can be fine, and literally in a matter of days, you could be like the worst condition you've ever been in before. So I remember my mom having a flare-up, which is what's called in lupus, her having a flare-up and being rushed to the emergency room, and as a therapist, them sliding a note underneath my door telling me I had an emergency phone call and I needed to come out after the session. And me being that type of person, I was like, forget the client that's on my table. What's the emergency? And I walked out in the middle of the session. I was told my mom was in the emergency room. They didn't know what was going on, but I needed to get there as soon as possible. And I remember like crying, going in my boss's office frantic and being like, something's wrong with my mom. And everybody knew she had lupus. Like, this was not new. Something's wrong with my mom. I have to go. And his response, dead in my face, was, have you completed your shift today? So you guys can imagine the shift in me in that very moment, like, screw this job. Do you know what I mean? Because it was in that very moment where I understood I had been trading my time, my work ethic, my serious work ethic for somebody who was on a golf course all day long. But when it came time for me to have an emergency, there was literally no grace. And so that was a really big shift for me. I remember like checking my mom was okay, etc. But I remember going home that night after a 12-hour shift, bawling my eyes out and literally just praying and asking God that there has to be another way. There has to be another job. Maybe I can go and be a massage therapist. It was just so many things going on in my life. So I remember late that night not being able to sleep because I was so frustrated and scrolling up and down Facebook and seeing this before and after belly picture. And it never clicked to me, the business side of things, but what clicked to me was, whoa, her results are amazing. Her stomach looks just like mine. I kind of think someone snuck in my house and took a picture of my belly, right? I kind of think someone snuck in, took a picture of my belly. I need to try this thing because I'm extremely stressed out. So we know with stress comes weight gain and all of these other things. And I just needed a moment to pamper myself was all I was thinking. When I got my sponsor on the line, she asked me what I did. And for the first time in my life, I broke. I literally just started crying over the phone about how unhappy I was at my job, loving the field that I was in between this place, not knowing what to do. I feel like I'm at a point in my life where I just truly believe the Lord gives me revelation knowledge. And so it was one of those things where I was seeing 5 years down the road, realizing that financially everything was getting ready to be on my back. And there was no way possible that I was going to be able to work the massage job. And I was also PS a waitress on Saturdays and Sundays and a full-time college student. It was just way too much to bear. So I remember her telling her this, and she was like, well, it's a business opportunity too. And this is all she said, you guys. This is all she said. You have two options. You can either become a loyal customer and pay for the products, or you can become a business partner, use the products, and get paid. And I was like, no brainer. So how do I do that? She never explained steps of success. I never knew it was multi-level marketing. I knew nothing. It was just literally clear as day. You can either pay to use the products, or you can use the products and get paid. That's it. And so with that being said, I took the distributor option. Now fast forward, I jump in, it clicks in my head. I'm at a spa where customers are coming in paying $300 for a seaweed wrap treatment, where we are physically putting on this disgusting seaweed on their body, wrapping them in literal aluminum foil, leaving them on the table for an hour, going back into the room to Vichy scrub the treatment off of them for them to get barely results. Okay? I want everybody to really hear that. So it clicked in my mind, if they're paying $300 for this treatment for them to sit in disgusting seaweed for hours and barely getting results, they would pay $25 for a wrap that tightens, tones, and firms in 45 minutes that they can take while they're at the grocery store and still continuing their life. It just was a no-brainer for me. So I started asking my clients, and honestly, that was how I paid for my kit. Another aha moment. I didn't have $99 to drop on a kit, but I knew that I needed the business and it wasn't an option. So I pre-sold, which meant I realized that there were going to be 4 wraps in my kit when I purchased my business builder kit. So what I did was ask 4 people if they wanted to tighten, tone, and firm in which area. I took those same before and after pictures. And it's so funny because I did this before my sponsor ever told me to. I just took that before and after picture of that belly that I saw and sent it to these people, right? And so they PayPal me $25. I had my $100 to start. My kit was at my house. That was how we did it. My kit came. I had already sold those 4 wraps, and I just started sharing it with my friends. Mind you, I have no idea I'm in network marketing. I had no idea what that was. So I'm just having fun. I'm balling out on Rap Cash. Literally, I'm Rap Cash queen because no one had this. My sponsor was pretty new too. So no one at this point had ever even taught me how to enroll a loyal customer or how to enroll a distributor. And P.S., that was because Sonia didn't do her training academy. So I need you guys to do your training academy, right? So I was focused on this one way to get fast cash, which was Rat Cash. never once thinking after that person got results for me to turn around and ask them, okay, would you like to become a loyal customer and get more of these products? I was just profiting off Rat Cash because that was what I knew. So I did that for probably about the first 5 months of my business. And I want to stress that because imagine how much faster I would have went had I realized that they could have converted to loyal customers and distributors. Right? And so I was just balling out on Rat Cash. I was comfortable with only getting paid one way. And I remember taking myself out to eat. I remember quitting my my waitressing job on the weekends because Rat Cash was paying my rent. So I could finally eliminate one job, which was like heaven for me. And that was only in a matter of like a month and a half, 2 months. After that, I remember taking myself out to eat and sitting at the like table, which had another table real close to it. You guys are familiar with the Cheesecake Factory, I'm sure. So you know those tables that are all like, it almost feels like you're on top of the person who's eating next to you, right? So I'm sitting there and the gentleman next to me is asking me what I'm looking at, and it's our product catalog brochure. And I hand it over to him, I hand it over to him and I asked him if he's ever heard of it and et cetera. And he goes, no. So I'm like, oh my goodness, it's so exciting. It works for men. I've wrapped a man before. I would love to show you the results. And I'm just like literally passionate. And he goes, oh, you're a part of that pyramid scheme. And I was like, what's that? I didn't know I had no idea. Like, I was just excited. I was making cash, right? So I was like, what's that? And he goes, what you're a part. And you guys, to this day, I reference the story because had I not had thick skin, I probably would have quit. Because he was so mean and so stern, and it scared the life out of me. He was like, what you're a part of? And I was like, I'm sorry, I've never heard of that before. And he's like, and mind you, he's getting ready to leave. So he like had already had his bill and everything. So he like slams over the thing that he had just written the receipt thing on. We call it the little check dispenser. So he slams over the thing and he goes, you should probably discover what it is that you're a part of before you start marketing it to people, and walks off. And I was just like, well, okay. And in that moment, I was like, imagine being this. I want you guys to even imagine a child, when a child is super excited and they're bouncing off walls and they can't wait to tell you something that day, and then you just shut it down, right? And then they're just kind of like, okay, I don't know what to do. I'm like emotionally confused. And that was how I was in that very moment. But the interesting thing is I really feel like God called me to this business. And so in that next breath, the waitress that I had came over and was like, so can you tell me a little bit more about this? And I was in that moment like, oh no, it's nothing, in my head, but I was like, forget that. So I told her and she bought a wrap that paid for my meal. Now, I say all that to say, I went home that night and literally Googled pyramid scheme, because when I tell you guys I had never heard of the term, had no idea what it was at all, a few businesses came up. Mary Kay came up and I was like, oh, I see that pink catalog all the time, but I've never known what it was. I just thought they had lotion. That was it. Like I had no idea, you guys, no idea. And so as I'm researching it, it says MLM. And when I pulled up what multi-level marketing was, it said an industry that produces the most millionaires. And in that very moment, I was like, I'll be a part of that scheme. Boop. Like, I literally was like, I will be a part of that. Like, I am down because that's what I need right now. And so that hit 6 months into my business. And in that very moment, the light bulb went off for me. And then at that point, I was like, I'm taking this all the way to the top, because this is going to be the thing that's going to give us in my household with my mother comfortability. This is going to be the very vehicle that is going to allow for me to pay off her medical bills. This is going to be the very vehicle that's going to keep me from being so stressed out. This is going to be the very vehicle that is going to help me be 27 years old and be retired, period. It was no other option in my head. So I want you guys to know that's another light bulb. I had no plan B. I didn't make this a plan B. If it works, I'll try it out. It was no option in my head. And so with that being said, I started asking my friends to partner with me. I started asking people to partner with me. I started posting on social media about the opportunity. And in a matter of 4 months, I went diamond. When I went diamond, and I really want to tell you guys this. So I had started making between Rap Cash and my commission check enough to make the same amount in my, that pretty much was averaging what I was averaging as a massage therapist, working 40 plus hours a week, right? As a massage therapist, making 40 plus hours a week. So with that being said, in my mind, I was like, no brainer. I would rather not put my body through this physical stress and strain and own my time and make the same amount of money. And I quit, and I honestly would say that I probably quit before my time, but it forced me to work my business. And so I was that crazy person who quit without really having a saving security. Like, I just was fire on ice. I just was like, deuce, I'm gone, right? So I quit, and I remember telling my mom that, and I remember her, and me and my mom were like tight. And I remember her being so upset at me. I literally mean her being so upset at me to the point where she kicked me out, y'all. Like literally, she was pissed. And so it was one of those things where it was like she felt like, let me put it, I'll explain. So she kicked me out. Naturally, I'm like, what the heck am I going to do? Mind you, I'm working my business this whole entire time. I slept in my car for 2 weeks. I slept in my car for 2 weeks because I was like, what am I going to do? I need to get an apartment. I'm not going to blow my money on this or that, or you know what I mean? It was just like I was financially trying to figure it out. And so I literally slept in my car for 2 weeks, and then I ended up getting an apartment. And in that very moment, I had just gone Emerald, which therefore I was like, there's no option. I have to go diamond. And I kid you not, you guys,
I think there's a bad connection. Sonia? Oh, there you go. You back?
Kicked out on Thanksgiving. So anybody who's been in this business for a little bit, you'll hear something called, and I don't ever claim this over my business, and I don't want you guys to ever either. They'll say it's the slow season, right? November, December, because everyone's saving for Christmas and presents and the slow season. I was in the midst of the slow season, and I'm telling you what, I was going diamond, period. If nobody on my team worked, I was going diamond all on my own, period. You have to have you really have to have that type of commitment. I really believe the only reason why diamond worked for me was because I looked at that chart, and never once did I say, this person's not working, this person's not working, so I'm going to sit there and try to blow them up. I'm going to sit there and try to get them to run their auto ship. I was like, if I have to fill this whole damn chart, I'm going diamond, period. Right? And so with that being said, I had just moved into my apartment. December 1st hit. I had 31 days to go diamond. Mind you, I'm fully charted for Emerald, but only one ruby leg is working. One. So it was a mission. Period. I didn't do anything special. I was messaging people like crazy. I was getting those like crazy, like crazy. And it was just, I really believe that when you put things out there in the universe, everything aligns for you to get it if you are willing to work for it and align yourself to it. So it was literally a matter of me sitting there going. Like I literally was just like, and then all of a sudden the BV started coming in and I'm placing and like, it was to this day, it was my best promotion ever, because it was one of those promotions where in my mind, I was like, if I can go diamond, I could do anything, right? That was it. It was just like, I didn't even care about ambassador. I didn't care about being a top earner. It was like, if I can go diamond, I could do anything. And so I'm sitting there, volume is coming in, I'm placing. When I tell you guys, I worked until 11:58 p.m. on the 31st of December. While everybody else was out partying for New Year's, I was at home in 6-day-old pajamas still trying to promote. Okay? And I'm not saying this to say that this is going to be you guys' story, but I'm saying this to say, if you want it bad enough, you will make no excuses. None. Okay? Not even little ones. You will make no excuses. And so I remember at 11:59 p.m., the back office changing, saying I went diamond and got the $10,000 bonus. And the first thing that I did was got in my car, drove to my mom's house, and crawled up the steps because I was bawling. I couldn't believe that I did it. Crawling up the steps, and she opened the door and literally thought like I was dying, because I was just like, like, it was so bad. And she was like, what happened? And I said, I did. I just kept saying, I did it. I did. And she was like, you did what? And I was like, I went diamond. I got $10,000 bonus. And she literally looked me dead in my face and said, I knew my child well enough to know that if I didn't put your back up against the wall, you would have taken your time and you never would have done it. And it all made sense to me in that very moment, because of course I'm thinking like, how dare you kick me out? I've been supporting you. I've been taking, you know what I mean? Like I was just like, how dare you do that? But my mom was absolutely right, because had I not put myself in a position, but had I not felt the need to have that urgency, I wouldn't have moved with urgency. So boom. That happened, got the $10,000 bonus. My entire life changed. Y'all, when I tell you about some diamond cab bonuses, okay, my entire life changed after that. And then I went double diamond and I got the 30,000. You think my life changed some more? My life completely changed then. And I've been in it ever since. I want to say this to say this is not to me. I've had a whole emerald leg quit. I've had to replace my entire chart multiple times. I've been fully charted for triple diamond twice with new people. Okay, twice with new people. I have literally had months in this business where I have laid in bed like, I don't even know if this is going to happen. Like I've experienced it all. I have experienced it all. But at the end of the day, there's no price like freedom. At the end of the day, I have to understand as a leader, sometimes it's going to be a little bit difficult. But what I do is I go in a corner, I may shed a few tears about it. It only lasts 5 minutes and I get back to the charts. I get back to the steps of success. And that's my story.
I love it. Thank you for sharing. Actually, a lot of things I did not know. Well, I think we probably all want to know, if we're going to go, we'll take you back to that December. Why did you do? Like, where did you find that BV?
Absolutely. So blitzing was a lot of it. So here's the thing. I really feel like I set myself up for greatness that month. And so what I mean by that is, 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 October, November, everybody is out either shopping for Halloween, shopping for Christmas presents early, all of those things. So I got around where the people were, excuse me, you guys, where the people were spending money, even if that meant I had to drive an hour out of my city because I was so used to the same people, right? And so I drove an hour out of my city to go to that next mall, to go to that next outlet. I was willing to do that because I needed a new group of people. So something that I would say is if you are messaging the same people, asking them if they're ready to purchase, get over yourself and find new people. Like, straight up. Get over yourself and find new people. Keep them in your queue. I'm not saying don't follow up with them, but do not depend on them to build your business, right? So get out there and meet some new people, and sometimes that can be scary. I know I sound real bold on this live right now, but you guys, I'm lightweight a chicken. Like, I get really nervous when it comes to just walking up to people and giving them my Blitz card. It's very difficult for me to do. And so I'll give you guys the methods of which I blitz. So October and November, I was a blitzing fool. Every single chance I got an opportunity to go out in a new group of people, whether it be mall or anything, I went out. I am not that blitzer who feels like just because she goes to the mall, she has to shop, right? Because that's something that I get on my team often, where it's like they feel like they go to these places and they feel like they have to buy something. The whole objective for this business is to put more money in your pocket versus the money that you're expelling out. So what I used to do, you guys, is like if I shopped, so for example, let's say that I went to Forever 21 and I bought something. I would keep that Forever 21 bag and I would like put something in it, and I would go to the mall as if I've already purchased something. So that way I didn't look weird just walking into shops, but I was not going to spend my money to buy anything. I didn't need anything. And so when I would go into places, I would go into places that were places I loved because I knew that those people, we would have some sort of connection. And I would just simply compliment them. I always say a compliment works wonders. So I would either be like, oh my goodness, I absolutely love your eyebrows. Who do you go to? And then we would initiate a conversation. And I would say, you were so friendly and I really enjoyed our conversation. I would hate to leave without giving you a coupon. Would you accept me giving you a coupon? And they would be like, sure, who doesn't want a coupon? So they would take a coupon from me and they would kind of look at it and say, oh, what's this? What does it do? And then I would say, oh my goodness, I can't wait to show you. Give me your phone number so I can text you a before and after picture. So therefore it got me out of my shyness of being like, can I have your number? Right? I was like, oh my goodness, let me send you a before and after picture. And they would already give me their number without me even realizing it. So that's one way that I blitz. Another way that I would blitz is engaging in conversation. And I'm a very big vibe person, and I'm sure you guys are too. You know the people who will give you your phone number, and you know the people who may be a little standoffish. So the people who I may have thought wouldn't actually give me their cell phone numbers, what I would do is I would just simply ask them, do you have Facebook or Instagram? Which social media platform do you love? And when they would say Facebook, I would add them on Facebook. When they would say Instagram, I would add them on Instagram. Something that I'm really, really, really good at is building relationships. And I learned that through this business because I was not good at it before. This is the blessing of It Works Global, is it teaches you how to truly be an entrepreneur if you're willing to go through the ups and downs of learning. And so I learned very quickly how to build a relationship. So with that being said, when I would go out with 10 to 20 blitz cards, and I would make it a mental note in my head that I could not come back in my house until they were all out of my hand. No excuses, right? Until they were, and that was not me blitzing things, it was me blitzing people. And I always like to be very clear with that, because I used to be the person who used to go places and then put a blitz card in the bathroom. Why? Right? I was that person who used to go places and like leave a blitz card sneakily on the table. Why? Like, blitz people, not things. And so, and the only reason why I learned that is because I can think back to how many packets of Blitz cards that I've left in bathrooms, and I still have not received a phone call. Right? And so it's always better to blitz people. I also learned not to just put my Blitz card in someone's hand without any of their contact information, whether it be phone number or social media. And the reason being is because people don't really know how to call us. Like, they don't know how to say, like, hey girl, so I met you in the grocery store and you gave me this coupon. I'm ready. They don't know what they're ready for, right? So you kind of have to guide them through, which now I circle back around to building relationships. As soon as a person at the end of, I made a point, and to this day I still do this, when I go out and I blitz, every single phone number, every single Facebook, every single Instagram, whoever's contact information I got, I do not go to sleep without texting them, it was so nice meeting you today, right? It was so nice meeting you today. Something that I do is when I put their phone number in my phone, I make sure I put in parentheses where I was at. So if I was at Safeway, I'll put Safeway. If I was at Target, I'm always at Target. So I'll put it at Target. Like, I'm always at Hobby Lobby. So boom, I will put it there. And so what would happen is I would message them and say, hey, Sarah, this is Sonia. I met you today at Hobby Lobby. I just wanted to let you know I enjoyed our connection, and I can't wait to hopefully meet you for coffee someday soon. How does that sound? Because then what it did was I asked them a question, which means that they had to respond to me. And if I can get them to respond, you're getting closed, period. Okay, so those were my blitzing tips. So to get to Diamond, I did a lot of that, which set me up for success, because I want you guys to think about this. Even if you're blitzing 4 to 5 days a week, you may not do all 7. Even if you're blitzing 4 to 5 days a week, if you're willing to blitz 10 people each day, you just created a 50s list in a week, right? And so if you're doing that every single week, imagine how many leads you're going to have that have nothing to do with the people who you're sitting there messaging, hoping that they're ready to order one day, right? And so it was literally a matter of building my 100s list and continuously building my 100s list. Like, I got like a 2000s list now. It's ridiculous. And I would really genuinely say, like, maybe a quarter of the people have actually converted to loyal customers and distributors. These are people I'm still following up with, but it's the fact that I'm still in contact with them and they're either following me on social media or etc. And so in order for me to go Diamond, it was a lot of lead building, actually picking up the phone and calling them, or actually personally texting them. Something else that I did was every single time I did wrap parties, because I love Wrap Cash. So a lot of them I did virtually too. So virtual wrap parties totally work. The tip with virtual wrap parties is you do not want to invite 200 people. Like, it's my pet peeve when I see distributors do that. Don't do that, because I want you guys to think about it from your standpoint. If someone, because I'm sure we've all experienced this, how many people on this live have experienced getting an event invite from a friend on Facebook and it being like 1,000 people in the invite, and then you just go, not going? Your virtual parties do the exact same thing. So what I do is I only invite max 35 people to a virtual party, because my goal is to be personable, right? My goal is to make them feel like they're VIP and I'm inviting them to something different and unique. So if that means that I have to do multiple parties, I'm doing multiple parties. You know why? Because my check is worth that. My family is worth that, right? These bills got to get paid. So it's worth it. And so, so with that being said, it was doing virtual parties. And this is what I want to let you guys know. This was really where the volume came from, of me understanding that my own network is not going to build my entire business. But when I remember Denise Walsh saying in a training video that every one person has 100 people attached to them. Okay? Every one person has 100 people attached to them. I'm going to say it again. Every one person has 100 people attached to them. So what I did was I had to switch my mindset, and I had to understand that the person I'm directly talking to may not ever be my loyal customer or my distributor, but they know somebody who's going to be. So what I started doing was when people would tell me, no, I don't want to order right now, I would say, who in your life do you know who may be experiencing high blood pressure or diabetes? Who in your life do you know may be experiencing their hair falling out? Who in your life do you know has been really trying to lose weight and hasn't been successful? Would you be willing to refer them to me? So what I would do is I would take their network. And what happens is when people see their friends and their family getting results, they want them too. And the person would eventually come back to me and either be my distributor or my loyal customer. So use other people's networks. If you have someone who has a before and after belly picture, even if they are not a distributor, I have them post it as if they are a distributor on their Facebooks. Why? Because they'll soon learn why they need to be a distributor. Right? So I literally treat my loyal customers like they're distributors because this business is so freaking simple. It's so simple. You get results, you share them, and you get paid. And they need to understand it is that simple, but the only way they'll understand that is if you paint the picture. So I'm really good about painting the picture. Okay.
Awesome. You guys have any questions so far? You can always unmute yourself, or you can also type in a chat. Mm-hmm. Nobody has any questions or thinking? I have a totally different question for you.
Okay.
I actually ask almost everyone who I get to talk to. And when you said that you have 2,000 lists, how do you manage your list?
Ooh, that's a good question. Okay, so I'm actually going to show you guys something. Come take a walk with me. I have no voice, but y'all can. Okay, so here's the first thing. I have to be organized because even still being a full-time entrepreneur, you guys, I'm busy. Like, I now live 3 hours away from my mom. So I'm paying her rent and mine, right? I'm like literally paying for two totally different things. I live 3 hours away from my mom. I drive back home at least 1 to 2 times a week. So you guys can imagine. Throughout the time I'm driving home, I'm doing phone calls or I'm listening to personal development. I turn the music off because hip hop, R&B, and me bebopping is not going to make me successful. So that's a gem. I had to literally turn the mess off because whatever it is that you're listening to, this business is bigger than you just meeting people. This business is, and I apologize, I don't know the scripture offhand, but the actual scripture. But as a man thinketh, so he is. If all you're thinking about is garbage all day, that's what your life becomes. If all you're doing is listening up to hip hop and bebop and everything all day, that's all you're consuming. But I kid you not, the day that you put down the hip hop and R&B or country, whatever it is you listen to, the day that you switch that to listen to an audiobook while you're driving, the day you start expanding your mindset, the more successful you will become. So I'm extremely busy, and so I have to keep myself organized. So I'll kind of walk you through everything that I do. The very first thing is I'm a green personality, if you guys haven't been able to tell yet. So I'm super type A, which means I got 3 journals and 5 planners. It's ridiculous. And I lose all of them, which is why I keep buying more. So I finally went to the dollar store and made my own calendar up for the month. So I do this at the end of every single month. And so what I do is, in every single day, I put my income producing activities. So it's post and I put the things that I need to do, and then I put income producing activities. So I want to be very clear about this, because a lot of people think posting is an income producing activity, and it's not. Posting is something that you need to do in order to show people that you're working your business, but it's not a income producing activity. So if you're thinking, I'm posting 7 times a day and no one's responding to me, baby, you only doing one aspect, okay? So I make sure I post 3 to 6 times a day. I make sure that I use my products every single day. I make sure that I add 15 new people to Facebook every single day. I make sure that I add 25 people to Instagram every single day. I make sure that I don't make sure that I don't miss the day without having at least 10 follow-ups every single day. Because if you're constantly building your list, you have people to follow up with, right? And then I put in my training calls. These are just things that I have to do for my business, and I'm going to be very honest with you guys. All of that takes me an hour, and so I've clocked it. Takes me an hour and 30 minutes. Okay? We have time to work this business. We have time to work this business. Now, income producing activities are me actually picking up the phone and calling people. So that's one thing, me actually sitting down messaging people. I message anywhere between 25 to 50 people a day. I see someone ask me, do I do cold messaging? I do not. I know that there are some distributors who teach that, and here's the reason why I don't. I remember being in the business for a year and a half, had already promoted to Diamond, and I remember a distributor who was brand new who inboxed me and was like, so I have this business, you should totally join me. Literally had just sent me a friends request, y'all. Just sent me a friends request, then messaged me and said, I have this business, you should totally join me. I'm so excited. I can't wait to go to the top, and I want you to run with me. So I totally engaged in this because I realized she was an It Works distributor. And I was like, what business is it? And she was like, It Works. Have you ever heard of it? And I said, have you looked at my timeline? That's why I don't cold message, because it takes no effort to cold message, and I am not going to pull out my card for anyone who doesn't give effort. Okay? That's me. So I can only imagine a customer. I don't treat my customers like that. What I do is I build relationships. Even if that means that my first message to you is, hey, how are you doing today? I make a very big point of anybody that I go to message, I like 3 of their pictures and comment on at least 1 status, and then I hop in their message. Okay? Like 3, 1. I got a 3-to-1 ratio is what I tell my team. Like 3, comment on 1. Like 3, comment on 1. Because how many of us have had people who are liking our pictures, and then we go, who in the world is this person? That's the reaction I want, because cold messaging is not going to sustain my business. It may give me a few loyals and customers, but I'm trying to be an ambassador diamond, not a quick one. Okay? So I personally do not. That was a great question. I personally do not cold message. So yes, income producing activities, actually doing follow-ups, making sure that I'm messaging anywhere between 25 to 50 new people a day. And then also making sure that I am connecting with my team. I look at my chart every single day, and it is exhausting. I get so tired, especially on the days that it doesn't change. Those are the days where I'm like, I don't want to look at this chart again. But one of the things that I remember, a sideline sister who I dedicate all my success to, literally, a sideline sister who trained me one day. Something she said that never left me was trust the charts. And I didn't understand what she meant at the time. I was like, I don't get that. And she was like, trust the charts. And what trust the charts meant is every single time that you are doing the steps of success and you put someone in your chart, trust the charts, right? Trust the charts. And so at that point, if I'm trusting something, I'm looking at it or I'm breathing life into it every single day. So yes, I have this. The next thing that I do is when I I forgot I was out of the house today, so it's in my purse. Hold on, guys. The next thing that I do is I created this, and you guys can totally create this too. I apologize. I would send it to you, but I actually don't have the template for it because a friend of mine created it like on the spot for me. I pretty much custom made this for myself. Excuse the highlighter mark. Custom made this for myself. I just have lines of 25 people, and above it I say new ads on Instagram, and then new ads on Facebook. I have 15, and then I put a little inspirational quote of the day for myself because I'm a green personality, gotta have it. So every single time that I add somebody and I'm like, ooh, I would totally love for them to be a loyal customer or distributor, I keep them on here. So what happens is I have to complete this every single day. For me to know I'm working my business, I have to complete one of these every single day. And so then what I do is by the end of the week, I go back and these are my follow-ups. This is how I'm keeping up with people. Because how many times have we added people to Facebook or Instagram and then we forget who in the world we added, where they're at, what their first name was, what their last name was? I have to keep track of them. So I literally make, I just have a blank. I don't have like the actual template, but I have a blank one of these. So I go to Office Depot, like they know me, and like all of the girls in the print department at Office Depot are my loyal customers. Like that's how much they know me. I literally go in there at the end of every single month and print out 30 of these for the new month. I play no games with this list. How often do I follow up? Every single day. To that, I think what you're asking is, hold on, it says my connection's unstable again. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I think what you're asking, Megan, is if I do this list. So let me put it this. And I'm real diligent. It's like I have a 72-hour turnover, which means if I added all these people on Friday, on Saturday, I'm liking 3, commenting on 1, liking 3, commenting on 1, liking 3, commenting on 1, right? So the people who I add on Saturday, I just wrote them down. On Sunday, I like 3, comment on 1, like 3, comment on 1. So therefore, usually it's about 72 hours before I slide in the DM or slide in their inbox and say, hey girl, I totally love your page. And they will believe that solely because I have been liking and commenting and building the relationship, right? So I'll say, hey girl, I totally love your page. I'm so excited to connect with you. I don't know if you've added me yet, therefore it's like, hello, add me, but I don't know if you've added me yet, but I'm super excited to be able to exchange with you. How many people, so I follow up with people until they tell me flat out no, and when they tell me no, I literally say, you mean not yet? I'll follow up with you in the next 3 months. Okay, and the reason why I say that is because it's a known fact that every single 90 days someone's life changes. And what taught me this lesson was I remember asking this hairdresser. She was just such a she was in San Francisco. She had a really huge market. She worked for a very popular salon where she felt like she just had her life made, and she did until they let her go. And I remember asking her if she wanted to partner with me. It would be really great. And I remember her literally being like, I don't sell wraps. Like she was so it was just disgusting to her. I don't sell wraps. And I was like, oh, okay, girl. And I remember following her on Facebook for a little bit, and then her moving, which was a little odd because she praised this job that she was in. And I remember messaging her and be like, girl, you moved, you left your job. And she ended up telling me they actually ended up letting her go. Do you guys know that she's now a diamond underneath me? Bloop. right? She flat out told me no, but when her situation changed, she realized this was an opportunity that she needed. So I follow up until someone tells me no. I only follow up because I have so many people. I keep going through people. And because I'm constantly building my list, I typically follow up with a person maybe once to twice a month. And that second time is if they've given me a date or if they said, contact me next week or right? But other than that, at the end of the month, I'll go through people if we really need volume. But other than that, I just keep going, because my thought process is if you're paying attention to the people in your organization who quit, or you're paying attention to how many people are telling you no, you're not working your business hard enough, because you should be bringing in so many DTs that you don't realize who quit. You should just literally erase and replace, right? You should be on a Friday. Okay.
Can you just repeat what you said? You broke up.
I'm sorry. I said you should be striving to complete your steps success every single month so much that you don't even see who quits in your organization. And I know that that's kind of hard to imagine at executive or Ruby level, because you only have like 2 to 5 people. But I'm telling you, if you get yourself pumped up and excited to complete the step success, you'll be like, oh, Jessica quit. Okay, bye, girl. And then it's like training the new distributor. You know what I mean? And I remember Joel Dunn saying that, and I never forgot how many people in your organization have quit. You are not doing your due diligence of doing the step success to bring enough people in, because you shouldn't even see them. And when he said that, I was like, dang, he's right. Like, you really shouldn't be paying attention to that, because people are going to quit on you, period. People are going to quit on you. But I'm telling you this, if you don't quit, they will come back. I have had people who were on the brink of a promotion who quit, who in 2017 come back into this organization. It's like absurd to me, because they're so close and then they have to start all back over again. But the philosophy behind it is that if you stay the course and you stay consistent, they are going to see you working without them. And if they do not sign up as a convert to a loyal customer, they will join you again. Stay diligent. So if you're paying attention to how many distributors are quitting, you're not adding enough distributors in your organization. If you're paying attention to how many people are telling you no, they don't want to order, you're not following up with enough people, because the moment that Jessica tells you, no, I don't want to order wraps, you should have a Samantha who says, girl, I'm ordering on Friday. Okay.
I think there is another question about, do you build across or down? Kind of like a charting question.
Like placing? Do you mean placing, Megan? Okay, so I'm always a little weary of talking about placing on these calls, because every leader does things differently. So Natalie, how do you feel about me talking about that?
I would say go ahead. I mean, you can just share, what do you do? I'm sure everybody's.
Okay, that's all you had to do. Y'all ready? Okay, I'm about to tell you the real deal Holyfield right now, okay? Real deal Holyfield right now. I have not kept a loyal customer in 2 years. I have not kept wait, that's a lie. I've kept 4 because of the promotion that just happened, okay? That was a lie, I'm sorry. I've kept 4 loyal customers in 2 years, and that was only because of the promotion that was going on. And here is my philosophy behind it, okay? I'm going to give you guys so back to my story. Once I discovered that I can add in distributors and loyal customers into my system, I was adding them in. I had no sponsor in my back office asking me about charting, or because she was just kind of living her life. You know what I mean? We were all learning. I had no sponsor in my back office trying to chart with me. I didn't understand charting at the time. There were not really a lot of YouTube videos out about charting like there are now. So I had 17 distributors on my top line. I could have went diamond in 2.5 months if I understood placing. I had 17 distributors on my top line. So what ended up happening was I could not cater to all of those distributors. It's a lot of pressure, right? I couldn't cater to all those distributors on my top line. The smart thing would have been to place and stack them so they helped each other, but I was not knowledgeable about that. And so what I did was I had 17 people on my downline, worst mistake that I ever made. So what ended up happening was people started falling off and quitting because it's like I can't do everything. Everybody's not moving, everybody's not working together, etc. And I'll never forget looking at a training from Denise Walsh, which is now the number 3 top earner in our business. At the time, she was number but I remember watching unstable. Can you guys hear me?
Now we can.
Okay. I remember watching a YouTube video of Denise Walsh, and she had accidentally showed her back office. The number 2 top earner in this business. I need you guys to hear me. She accidentally showed her back office. When I looked at her tree viewer, she had 5 people on her top line. You think that light bulb moment went off for me? 5 people on her top line. Mind you, she's the number 2 earner. She's placing. So I then called my sponsor and was like, can you tell me why Denise Walsh only has 5 people on her top line? Can you tell me why Denise Walsh only has 5 people on her top line and I have 17? And she was like, you're not placing. I was like, what does that mean? The moment that I learned placing, I literally chose who my 5 were, right? I chose who my 5 were on my top line that I was going to start building underneath them, and I have built every single since. And what it has done is it's created more unity on my team. It's created more people understanding that we're going to eat together, right? It has also created selflessness on my team, because I'm telling you guys right now, if you're selfish and you're hoarding your distributors and you're hoarding your loyal customers, you're not going to go far. Period. You're not going to go far. And the reason why I say this is because the thought process is to build 5 out and then build deep. And once you get to a rank that you're comfortable at, then you start keeping stuff. So to me, right now, I want to be an ambassador diamond. So right now, it makes no sense for me to keep loyal customers, because what I would be doing is saying I'm moving in scarcity, and I don't think I'm ever going to get another loyal customer, right? You guys, there's people who turn 18 every single day. There are kids getting ATM debit cards now at 15 years old. You will always get another loyal customer. So if you run your business in scarcity, your check is going to be scarcity too. Okay. So when I get a new distributor in, okay, I'm going to answer that, Megan. Such good questions. When I get so now, because I wasn't knowledgeable about this in the very beginning, when I get a new distributor in and the distributor has some goals, right? The distributor is like, I want that business, or I want to go after that, or I really need this income in my household. What I do is I literally tell them at day 1 when they come in, once you make it to the top of this business, who would you love to look to the left or to the right of you and see by your side? Who is that person? They tell me that person's their best friend. If they tell me that person's their spouse, if they tell me that person is their parents, I say, you need to get them in this business ASAP. Get 3 people who are the closest to you that you want by your side at the top in with you immediately, because then you build under them. right? It's nothing like building under somebody who you know the check that the check goes to is totally going to change their life. And then you're not mad if a person's not running their auto ship when it's a stranger. Hello. Right? And so I literally tell them, who are those people to the left, who you want to the left or to the right of you. And then I have them do when those people come in, I have them do the same thing. So a person will build to Ruby fairly quickly, providing they're willing to do that. So when you add a new DT under another one, do you train them? So this is actually a really, really good question, because in the very beginning, I was bringing in so many distributors, and then I was placing them all over my downline, and then I was trying to train them all too. And I experienced the burnout, guys. I totally experienced the burnout. It was a lot. It's very much a lot to do that. So I say that to say I place underneath distributors who I feel have leadership capabilities. I place under distributors who are coachable. I place underneath distributors who are the people who are messaging me as their sponsor at the end or beginning of the month saying, these are my goals for the month. Like, I place under the people who stick close to me. Okay, I don't care how far you are on the chart. If you're not coachable, I can't work with you. So I stick to the people who I place underneath the people who are close to me, who stick close to me and who are coachable. And the moment now, I've changed this after 2 years of my business. Now when a new distributor comes in, I say, hey, Samantha, this is Jessica. Jessica's been in with me for a little while, and she's totally a rock star. She is going to take care of you. This is going to be someone who is going to train you, but I want you to always know you can contact me and you can come to me. But I want for you to contact her first, because your questions that you have are going to help to make her a better leader than she already is. And I have to pass the torch and say, I trust her to lead you. Okay. And I give them to that distributor, because what you're doing is you're not just building everybody, you're actually having people develop as leaders. So I do have to give them the distributor once I bring them in. Unless it's like a distributor who's like high profile that I actually feel like the need to really train, then I'll place and continue to train, but it's very rare. I feel like when I place LCs under a DT, they don't work as hard. That's because you're not probably utilizing matching. So matching is something that I utilize in my organization a lot. And matching means, so when I like fast start bonuses. How many of you guys like fast start bonuses? Okay, I like fast start bonuses. So therefore, I'm not waiting 30 days for a fast start bonus. I'm just not going to do it. People do, but I'm not going to do it. So therefore, what I do is when a new distributor comes in, so this is my new DT training. Let me just go over this. When a new distributor comes in and I'm training them, and my team trains this way too. When a new distributor comes in, I say, I'm super excited for you. We want to make sure that we get a list of at least 15 to 20 people who you know need weight loss, who may have high blood pressure, diabetes, who want to grow their hair out, who just need some extra energy, right? I want you to make a list of 10 to 15 people, because these are going to be the people who we practice with. And me saying practice puts them at ease, like they don't have to be a professional out of the gate. So I say, these are going to be the people who we practice with. These are going to be the people who wouldn't mind if you mess up, right? Because they're going to support you. So I would love for us to just kind of talk to those people first. And then what I personally do is I'll get a loyal customer in, and I'll place the first loyal customer, and I say, you have 72 hours to match me. Okay, I give them their first one. You have 72 hours to match me, because then what they do and they get in their head is they have to work. And if I'm building you, we're building together. So what happens is when their distributor comes in, what do? They say, they give a loyal and then they say, match me. So everyone does the matching game. If I give you a distributor, you got 72 hours to try to find another distributor for me. Let's match. Let's match. I don't ever just place 400 BV underneath somebody because a person is going to get that check. So they got to work for a little bit of it. Good questions. Anything else? Why are you crying?
Somebody's crying.
I'm so crying right now. Who said that?
Oh, right there. I didn't see the comment.
Oh, I don't know if someone meant to say that. I want to say, why are you crying? Anything else? No other questions? Please unmute yourself and ask. If so, nothing else. What was your aha moment? If any.
Everybody's shy.
I know, everybody's so quiet.
Awesome.
What?
I don't know if you have a little bit more time. I actually do want to ask you, how do you work, Facebook? You said you add 15 people a day, 15 new people, and you follow up with. How long do you usually take to actually message them? Because I know Facebook is a little different than, well, actually Facebook is very different than Instagram.
So different. So different. Yeah, Facebook is very different than Instagram. So wait, your question is, how do I message them, or how do I find the people?
How do you message them, or how long does it take you to go and actually reach out to them? Is that also, you said 72 hours or something when you said at the beginning? Okay, let's say you add someone to new person, accept your friend request. What is your routine?
Like 3, comment on 1, like 3, comment on 1, say, hey girl, I noticed that you just posted about whatever it is that I commented on, even if it's their child. Oh my goodness, she's so cute, right? Whatever, it's very genuine too. I don't just randomly compliment things. It has to be something that I'm actually really genuine in. And I'll literally just say, thank you for being a part of my new Facebook community. I'm super excited to connect with you. Don't be a stranger, right? Don't be a stranger. If you ever have if you ever want to chat, or you see something that I post that inspires you, by all means, don't ever hesitate to message me and say something. And then it puts this like, oh my goodness, you're all oh, you're super sweet. Like, yeah, absolutely. And then what they do is they go to my page and they start scrolling. And if I'm doing my due diligence of posting about the business and posting about the products and etc., they're going to go, so I saw that you posted this. Or they may like a status, and as soon as they like something, it's over, right? As soon as they like something, I'm like, I noticed that you like this. I just want to see if you have any questions. I'm really good about asking questions to people. I don't ever just say, would you like to try this? Because then they'll be like, sure, but what is it? What I usually say is, if you can tighten, tone, and firm any area in 45 minutes on your body, what would it be? Because then they have to tell me an area. And as soon as they say my arms, then I got before and after pictures on deck to send them of arms. As soon as they say thighs, before and after pictures on deck to send of thighs, right? Because people are visual. So the moment that they desire it and then they speak it, and then you can then give them an example visually, they are sold.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yay, Lisa, go for it. Where there's always something happening in huge crowds. Oh, okay. So I'm a catch-22. I'm an ambivert, which means that I can be extremely extroverted when I need to be. But I'm also very introverted too. It's like, you just gotta, it depends on which day you catch me on, kind of type thing. And so with that being said, like, sometimes I love big crowds, and then sometimes I'm extremely overwhelmed. So typically what I do is, if I'm going to a big crowd, I'll make sure that I have my Blitz card as a lanyard, right? So I'll wear the lanyard and I'll literally go whatever the event is. So let's say the event is like a festival. I will like get something from the festival and I'll walk around and I'll be like, hey. The moment someone says hey back to me, it's over. The moment someone looks down at the Blitz card, it's over. I'm very quick to be like, I saw you look at this. Have you ever seen this before? And then they're like, I was kind of curious of what was dangling along your neck. And then I do the exact same method. Let me send you a before and after picture. What's your number? Or are you on social media? I would love to send you some before and after pictures. And I asked them right then and there, if you can wrap any area in 45 minutes, which area would you wrap? And if they're like, oh my goodness, girl, on my stomach, I'll be like, I keep wraps in my purse, PS. So I'll literally say, it's only $25. I can wrap you now. You can be skinny in 45 minutes. Okay. You guys see how much gear I got on right now? I'm head to toe. Like I have a hat, the hoodie, the shirt, and the pants. I'm always in gear. Always. I live in gear. I sleep in gear. Literally, I have the guys' shirts in extra large. I sleep in gear. It's not even a game. Yes.
Awesome.
Yes. Yes. Any other questions? Anything? Okay. So I'm gonna share my slogan with you guys that I want for you guys to remember on your team. Me and my team go 5 wide, build deep. 5 wide, build deep. So you guys totally can remember that when you're charting, okay?
Oh yeah, thank you so much. That was so awesome.
Absolutely. I'm excited for you guys. Hit this. Work until 11:59 p.m. no matter where you're at, because the truth of the matter is if you're going for a promotion and at the end of this month you have pushed your hardest, your check is going to go up. So even if you don't hit the rank, you're that much closer to it. So literally work until 11:59. I don't care what it looks like. I don't care what the charts say. Like literally, I don't care what it looks like. I remember going double diamond and being fully charted for it. And I remember with 4 days left in the month, I needed 6,000 BV. You guys, we made it happen. I don't know how, but we all were hands on deck, not giving up. And we made it happen solely because no one gave up. Don't give up. I don't care if it's 11 p.m. CT time and you're like, I got an hour left, forget it. Work until 11:59, because every single time you drive yourself to do that, you'll get that much closer to what it is that you want. Okay?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, Lisa. Absolutely. You're so welcome. Y'all can do it. Okay.
Thank you
Have a good
so
night.
much. This was awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Have a good night, you guys.
You
Have a
too.
good night.
Bye.